My name's pvroman. I've been a loan officer in the industry for 23 years, and today I want to give you a brief overview of the home buying process. So think of this as a mini home buying seminar. The first step in the home buying process, most start looking online, but truly that first step should be speaking with a loan officer to determine what you can qualify for. That initial conversation usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to determine a budget for yourself personally and what we can qualify you for from the lending perspective. In that conversation, we're also going to be asking you where you're looking to purchase, what your time frame is, what your income, assets, and savings all entail. That way we can start to put together a plan in place for you to purchase your new home. Once we've gathered that information, we will usually circle back with you within 1 to 2 business days to give you a rough idea of what your budget will look like from our ceiling, what your maximum is basically, and then also what it is from your own personal budget. This way you know exactly what those numbers up front look like. We're also going to dive into what your cash to close numbers will be, as well as any down payment assistance programs or grants that we can obtain for you. Once we've given you all of that information, we will then request a set of income documentation for you to gather, such as W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, etc. Once you've gathered that information, we will issue what's called a pre-approval. That pre-approval is your golden ticket to go home shopping. At that point, that's when I would really start vetting and interviewing realtors. When interviewing realtors, keep in mind this is one of your biggest investments, so finding the right person is incredibly important. Some of my recommendations when choosing your realtor would be checking their online reviews, making sure that they are a full-time agent, and really getting a feel for if they know the local market and the area that you're looking to purchase within. Once you've found your realtor, at that point you could start your home shopping. Once you find a home that you want to pursue, you should request from your loan officer what's called a closing worksheet. That worksheet is going to give you your monthly payment as well as your cash to close or your upfront cash needed number. Once you have that number and you're going to pursue your offer, your agent will help you negotiate all the terms within that offer, which include and are not limited to your purchase price, your closing date, the deposit you're going to make on the contract, what type of home inspections you may want, and what type of financing you plan to use. So placing that offer with a good, experienced agent is very important. Once you're under contract, we will then begin your mortgage underwriting process. One very common misnomer is that a lot of clients think once you're pre-approved that we've completed the mortgage process. In fact, most contracts are 30 to 45 days, so we will be monitoring your credit, income, and assets all the way through the day of closing. Now, not to scare you, but if you are going to change any of those, you just want to check with your lender. So for example, if you're going to buy new furniture or spend some of your savings, you simply want to check in with your lender to make sure that that's not going to adjust or affect your approval. So now once you're under contract, if you did agree to have home inspections, those would be completed just after you go under contract. After that is finished, we as the lender will send out a set of disclosures that confirm all the terms of your financing as well as the fact that your loan at that point is typically locked. Once we've gone through that process and your inspection has passed, we will typically order your appraisal. Now, the difference between a home inspection and an appraisal is that the home inspection is going to tell you the working functionality of the property, such as your electrical, plumbing, and HVAC, where the appraisal is there to determine that the purchase price you're spending for the property is what we as the lender and our appraiser have deemed the value to be at. That is typically based on 3 to 5 other homes that have sold for in your area similar to your property. Now, if the property were to under appraise, basically your agent with the listing agent would go back to the table to renegotiate that contract. The seller could come down on the purchase price, you could meet in the middle, or you could both walk away. So basically at that point you just are renegotiating. If the property over appraises, we keep that information with us as the lender and share it with you, and then we keep moving through the underwriting process. So now we've gotten through home inspection, your appraisal, and now we're moving on into the mortgage underwriting process and what we call processing. Once you go through, our underwriter will issue a commitment. That is basically a commitment to lend on the financing, and that is sent to the seller's agent so that they know we have moved along through the underwriting process in a normal fashion and we haven't ran into any major hurdles. At that point, we would also let them know if the home appraised with any issues and that we're basically moving on through settlement with no big major issues in the way. Once we've gone through the commitment, there would be a final list of conditions that we would send into the underwriter. buyer. Once we've met those, we would basically be issued what's called our clear to close. Your agent will establish your settlement date, and that's when any funds that are due at closing would be due and sent to the title company. At that point, you become the owner and the deed is transferred into your name.